What did you have for lunch today?
I don't know. A salad?
Exactly. I used to have this appetite for food, for life, and it's just gone. I want to go someplace where I can marvel at something.
Eat, pray, and then fall asleep. Junkie from a job and telling me. Y'all told me like this. Okay, Leon, you told me this, and I'm here in New York right now. And in the office up here, some people saw it. And I said, well, Leon described it as the story of a woman who's above 40 who has no problems, who goes to find herself.
Pretty much. Okay. Well, the review's done then.
Yeah, we're pretty much done. That's it. Okay.
That's it.
See, the way I look at it, I thought if Batman had a vagina and looked like Julia Roberts and didn't care about learning how to do martial arts and just wanted to eat all the time, this would be that movie.
You know, Coles, I have to admire the way you work Batman into this, because this is the total anti-Batman movie. You found a way.
You've taught him well, Leon.
The way Batman went to the East to study, martial arts and all these places. It's like she goes to the East, she goes to India and Bali, but doesn't study shit other than how to eat spaghetti, how to meditate, and listen to a guy from Texas spout a bunch of fortune cookie philosophy.
And the woman we're talking about is a woman named Liz Gilbert. And I know nothing about this. I know it's a very popular book. I know they love to advertise it when you're at World Market. It's everywhere.
It's a hugely popular book amongst women because Oprah put it on her show as one of the Book of the Month clubs.
It's the only thing this movie is missing is Oprah narrating it. In fact, you kind of hear that in your head anyway.
She was too busy. She was too busy eating.
I mean, look,
she wasn't praying, I love it, she was eating. Jesus Christ, man. Oprah could put an issue of Penthouse up on her show and women would buy that shit. God damn.
Well,
already bought it.
It's important for me to point out at this moment that, like, my problems, and maybe I speak for the rest of the guys, but my problems with this movie had nothing to do with it being a chick flick or me being misogynist, just hating it because, it's just about women. It's about a person. She's a bitch, but it's about a person who is really shallow, breaks up with her husband, and decides, I have to find myself, and I'm going to take off a year to do this. And so she goes to Italy, where she eats a bunch of spaghetti and pizza. With
Chapter 1.
Yeah, but a bunch of Italians who say, like, America, they don't know how to live. We know how to kick back and not work and have fun. She goes to India to meditate, even though she meets people with real problems, and she has none and doesn't snap to it.
Chapter 2.
And finally, ends up at Bali for a medicine man who doesn't remember her and falls in love with a guy who's completely emotionally needy and smothers her.
Finally, fucking chapter 3.
And goes like, hey, I found the solution. There we go.
Korey, at the end of this movie, all I said was, don't tell me your problems.
Yeah. Well, you know what, co-host? She couldn't tell you her problems because she actually didn't have it.
She didn't have any problems.
By the way, hold on. By the way, Leon, I applaud you for trying to do it in an Italian accent and just giving up halfway through. I do that all the time myself.
They should have called this movie Entitled.
Yes.
Because that's really what this is about. This is this woman that even her friends are like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, in the film, they're like, no, don't do that. What are you? Oh. And, you pointed this out to me. You really clarified this to me, Leon, after we came out of the theater. It's like, you didn't see that? Obviously, she's done shit like this to them before because they're just exasperated with her.
Yeah.
And the thing is like right from the beginning, you don't have any sympathy for her. Her husband is not some jerky guy. You never see him do one thing that's even contextually jerky. In fact, she leaves him and he's begging her saying, give me another chance. Don't you know how much I love you? And she's like, nope, sorry, bye.
No.
And you're like, okay, maybe this is a story about someone who is a bitch who we're supposed to like see her realize that she's a bitch and come out of it. But no, she just wants to find inner peace and fuck some Spanish guy.
And if she could have been honest about being a bitch, I could probably appreciate it. Like, Kevin Spacey is one of those guys who play a character who's an asshole. But he's compelling because he'll say things that are just so fucked up or funny. You're like, I want to see what this guy's going to do next. But she's completely shallow with no personality. So you follow her for 2.5 hours. You're like, I don't care.
She plays Julia Roberts, and that's it.
Well, the thing which is crazy is that she keeps falling for these Prince Charmings. I mean, these really romantic type of guys who are like, they're basically on their hands and knees. By the time she decides, you know what, I'm fucking bored with you, these guys are on their hands and knees begging for this bitch to, come back into their lives. And, it's like, what kind of fucking bizarro world scenario is this?
She's got James Franco in New York, who is like, a cute but not totally bright young actor who is just crazy for her, head of reels, treats her like a queen, literally calls her my queen. Yep, she just tosses that shit to the side.
No, if you notice, now, okay, like she leaves her husband because he acts too immature. He can't make up his mind. So she gets with a guy who's actually like 10 years younger than her, who also doesn't have his shit together. But the thing that cracked me up was like, it seemed like after 4 weeks, he was bored with her. He was like, look, could you give me a break over here? And starts arguing with her. And then she's like, oh, I gotta go to Italy and get my life together. But yeah, Viola Davis is her friend. At first I was kind of like, man, why are you all up in her grill? Like, don't do this. This is dumb. But after a while, you're like, yeah, you know what? It's always that black friend who's trying to talk some sense into you. Like, you know what? If you're trying to find yourself, why don't you look behind the couch? Because people lose a lot of shit back there.
Yeah. Well, this is actually based on the author's memoirs, where she does travel. And I think one of the things that was a big awakening in her life, or just brought her to a point where she felt like she needed to travel, was that she couldn't get pregnant. Does that play a big role in this film?
No, it's not so much she can't get pregnant. It's that she's thinking like she wants to travel, and she has these places she wants to travel to, but she's thinking like, well, maybe I want to have a baby and move to the next phase. But her husband, he's just not thinking about that. And the thing is, it's kind of like one of those situations where you go like, you know what? If he is too immature to have a baby, you know, a baby is certainly a deal breaker in a relationship. But she doesn't even talk to him about it. She's like, I want to go to Bali. He's like, I don't really want to do that. Oh, well, then I want to divorce you.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, what?
What? Because I don't want to take a trip?
Well, no, and not just that. I mean, he's like, you know, casually mentioning like for discussion, a very nice, like not like laying it down like this is going to happen. He's like, I'm thinking maybe I could go back to school at some point. And she's like, that's it. We're getting divorced.
Yeah.
And you're like,
really
wait, what?
Which, you know what? She probably should have done, because it's like, I'm going to school to get some young tail.
To be fair, Julia Roberts probably can't get pregnant. I mean, she's had so many facelifts at this point. Her
dude.
Yeah, her womb
actually, Julia Roberts has not had any.
She hasn't had work done.
No, I believe that when I see it.
Come on.
She really is more like, okay, you guys think I'm pretty,
has.
but I'm not.
You haven't seen any of those exposés about actresses
Now,
who
you act like you got her. You act like you TMZ, where you got her doctor's files and everything.
Like you found her BlackBerry.
I didn't want to say anything.
like,
when she spent the night over here, she didn't.
Cyrus, who the fuck are you working for now?
The thing is, I'm not going to blame Julia Roberts. I mean, she doesn't stretch this movie, but the part's not written for that. You know, the thing is, I've been reading about the actual woman who wrote the real book, and
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Elizabeth Gilbert, and it does capture her. She's like she's some, like a lot of women will say, she's just some middle-aged white bitch with nothing else going on, who thought, oh, I'll travel to all these cultures and I'll write about how quaint and cute they are and how they have a wisdom we don't have in America. And it's like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, I hate that.
By the way, that description is on the back of the book covers.
Yeah.
Some middle-aged white bitch goes somewhere.
No matter where they go, it doesn't matter who they meet. If they have an accent, and skin of a different color, they're filled with fucking wisdom about how Americans are boring and stupid and fucked it all up.
We don't know how to have a good time.
Well, our culture, there's this whole subculture in America of people who just get off on being told about how culturally inept and terrible we are.
Yeah, white people.
And yet they're trying to come over here in droves.
Yeah.
You have to have guards at the border to keep them out. Yet and a bunch of us wanting to go to Italy for more than 2 weeks.
Yeah. And you know what I find really funny about this is that it's like, wow, who is this film really catering to? It's people with money who can afford to just drop everything they're doing. Oh, I have this really nice apartment in New York, and this Prince Charming, who I just find boring as hell. I'm dropping everything and I'm going to go travel because I have the fucking money to do that, and I can do it for about a year. And I was just like, okay, well, life usually isn't that easy.
Yeah.
But if you're white and rich, I guess. Yeah.
Well, this is
nothing going on.
This is the yin equivalent to, say, the Expendables Wang. This is really the film that suffers by being just woman. I mean, all the male characters in here are at best fantasy portrayals of men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, devices is really what all they are. I mean, even when it gets to a point where they want you to feel something for her and her relationship with these people, there's not enough there to feel anything. They haven't given you any development. It just jumps from one thing right to the next, and they expect you on the word of the film to say, no, this is how it is now, so you should feel this.
Well, the thing is, I get it. I mean, I know plenty of people like this character who just, decide, you know what, I'm not happy in my situation. I don't know how I got here, but I just know I need to be honest with myself and whoever I'm fucking over. I just need to, just do it. I just need to go, travel, find myself, and I get that, okay? But what I really don't understand is that in this film, there's no sense of like there's no self-reflection where it's like she never says, you know what, I fucked up. I'm the reason why I messed up and why I let these people who honestly cared about me. I'm the reason why all this happened. And there's not a moment in this film where they really tell you that.
Well, the thing is, the movie itself, the other characters in the film keep telling her, you need to learn to forgive yourself first. It's like, really? Because I haven't seen her recriminate herself even once in this entire film for anything, much less apologize to the people who she's fucked over already.
So what did you guys like about this movie then?
Did I like it? Did we say anything?
Honestly, I mean, okay, look, if there's something good, and I'm not going to say I liked it, it's like when they go to Italy, it's food porn. Yes. They really try to sell you on the food of Italy. And perhaps if I hadn't eaten right before the movie, they would have I was like Superman from a different dimension where I'm like, I'm sorry, your kryptonite doesn't work on me.
No. I had not eaten all day, and I was starving, and I was ready to start masturbating. I was enjoying that food porn. I was like, yeah, give it to me. That's good.
I was going to say, go in hungry, but at that point you just be like, damn, I wish this shit would be over so I can go eat.
Well, that's the whole thing. I was like, wow, this movie's so boring and terrible that if I wasn't there to review it, I would have walked out sheerly just to go get some food after that first part.
Hey, I'm a robot, and the thing is, even after this movie, I wanted to go buy a can of Chef Boyardee go off, but the thing is, like, at least I'll say this. I definitely think this is a character who, I think we've all been in this type of situation before, and we even know people who have done this type of thing.
I do,
and
I call them shitheads.
But the thing is, I think and the thing is, hey, we all know a lot of shitheads, right? So I mean, it's one of those movies that you feel like, it's not a movie I necessarily want to hear because it's somebody just bitching about nothing, but it does happen. So I think somewhere along the line, this movie was going to get made, even though a lot of people aren't going to want to see it. But, the one good quality about it is that it does kind of give you, at least yourself, time to think about what's going on in your life. And I think at the end of it, you just realize that, wow, I'm glad I'm not her.
You know what? Of course, you brought up a positive thing about this movie. It made me feel good about myself.
Yeah, it kind of really does.
Yeah.
You know what this sounds like?
I read about the real woman. I forgot what you said her name was.
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Elizabeth Gilbert. And even though this book is popular, it's still controversial for all the same reasons that we're saying about the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, this movie is a fairly accurate reproduction because people who complain about the book have the exact same complaints. Yeah. It's like, who does she think she is?
You go on Amazon.com, read the reviews.
Yeah.
It's like half and half almost.
I mean, she got a $200,000 advance to write a book on her travels. So, of course she could afford to do this. And everybody talks about how she has no real insights or anything. It's just very
Isn't that crazy?
Saltine cracker kind of commentary.
Isn't this crazy how we see this all the time where it just takes one little thing or one person to bring something to the forefront and everybody will jump on it, including Hollywood. Like, do you know how many travel memoirs are just scribbled in a notebook from a lot of people that's probably not, I'm saying this unfairly because I haven't seen the movie. If I'm going by what you guys are saying, there's probably so many more interesting stories, but because this woman was in the right place at the right time, everybody is jumping on her shit, including Hollywood.
Well, that's exactly it. It's right place, right time, and then she's making up characters where you got Richard Jenkins, who's an awesome actor.
Oh, love Richard Jenkins.
And he's probably got like the most life of any character in this movie, and yet he's still a big fucking cliche of Texas who calls her groceries and just makes up a bunch of Ross Perot sayings to give her all the time.
I cannot focus in there. All I think about is my meditation room and how to decorate.
The meditation room is within groceries. Decorate that.
Do you always talk in bumper sticker?
I do, and here's another one. You have to learn to select your thoughts the same way that you select your clothes every day. Now, that's a power that you can cultivate. If you want to come here and you want to control your life so bad, work on the mind. And that's the only thing you should be trying to control. Because if you can't master your thoughts, you're in trouble forever.
I am trying.
Hello, that's the damn problem. Stop trying. Surrender. Go out into the garden and just sit there and still your mind and watch what happens. Why don't you just let it be?
Has anyone ever told you you look like James Taylor?
Every day.
Yeah, and even when she's in Italy, she meets a guy whose last name is Spaghetti. It's like, wow.
What?
Really?
Well, it's funny. At one point in this film, discusses the idea of bumper sticker aphorisms with the Richard Jenkins character, and it's so blatant and it so describes the entire film that I'm like, you know what? I halfway think this bitch knew exactly what she was doing.
Oh, yeah.
That she's just preaching to this sort of shallow bumper sticker crowd. You know, it's like, hey, it's got to be truth if it can fit on a T-shirt.
No, she is because you know what? Honestly, this is the chick who went to go see Sex and the City 2 and really loved it.
And like Cyrus said, I'm going to give him credit. He said that this movie makes Sex and the City look like the Expendables.
Wait a minute. They actually have an Italian named Spaghetti in this?
Yeah. His last name is Mr.
Jesus.
Spaghetti.
Did she stay with a black man named Ribs? You almost make me want to see this. You really do kind of make me want to see this.
No, you don't.
Okay, let me
that?
stop you. It's 2.5 hours long.
You almost make me not want to see this. I do not want to see this. No,
and that's the
not at
biggest
all.
fault of this movie, because as much as I thought the whole scene where she's in Italy, I actually liked a lot of that, and maybe it was because the food looked so fucking great.
Yeah.
As soon as it gets into her like trying to do this meditation deal where it just starts to teeter out. It's why you're just like, okay, now I really feel like I'm on vacation with Julia Roberts, and that's the last bitch I want to be on vacation with, because I'm not really getting anything out of this anymore. Besides her still trying to look for whatever it is that she's looking for, only to fall for, traveling all this way, only to fall for the dude and fucking,
no country for old man.
No country for old man. Yeah. I'm hanging out with this bitch. I'm hanging out with this bitch the whole time, only for her to fall for the fucking killer in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. Well, maybe if he shoots her at the end, that'll be interesting.
That would have been a good film. I was praying for that myself. I didn't need to bookshelf it between Eaton and
You were waiting
Love.
for that team up where it would have made sense.
Yeah, the one
bitch
thing
is about as evil as that guy.
about the Italian segment, and you did say that, like, in the sense that, like, that's the one part you were kind of sticking with. What is it? What was it about that? Well, it was the cinematography. And it's because the film was done by Robert Richardson, who's a really famous cinematographer who's worked with, like, Quentin Tarantino, Oliver Stone, John Sayles, Rob Reiner, Martin Scorsese, Barry Levinson. I mean, he's a huge cinematographer, and he does sell the imagery in this film, which is really important for a movie that's taking place all over the world.
Sure.
I mean, but the problem is I can see a lot of the stuff that's so cool like that on the Travel Channel or the
That's
Food.
the thing,
totally.
Like they made Rome look like fucking just heaven.
Yeah.
And when you stop to think, oh, okay, well, where's the story in this?
Well,
'Cause this would make a great travel log, but I'm not here to see that. I'm here
Exactly.
To
You could watch the Travel Channel or like, the whole thing of like doing the food porn. I'm like, look, it was effective in Julie and Julia because there was a story there to go with it.
Yeah.
And it was all these different types of food. But I'm like, okay, spaghetti and pizza, a little bit of asparagus, big whoop. We got a Whole Foods here. I can go buy all that shit.
Yeah, you can buy that and then go home and watch the Travel Channel in HD. So
And as co-host brought up, you know what? When she's in Italy, it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Maybe they'll go somewhere with it. And where they go is that she goes to India. Like, all right, well, this is fine. But then when they go to Bali, I'm like, enough already. How many places am I supposed to go for her to do nothing?
I would like to say, as a fan of Indian food, that I felt like it was a little unbalanced, that Italy is all about food, but you go to India and she has like one lousy meal on camera.
know.
I'm like, I want to see the more food porn in India, right? Let's see. Bring that tandoori chicken, bitch.
This movie did not make me want to go to fucking India, because you figure all people do there is just sit on the fucking floor. And that's it.
Yeah, that's because they need to show the eating.
They're either sitting on the floor or fucking scrubbing it.
I know, they sit in the middle of a pond with cows in it, and they give birth to babies with 5 arms and 3 faces.
It is funny because when she goes, it is the poor part. So usually people just in the streets it looks like fucking Mad Max. There's a horse taking a shit on the side of it.
Did she eat it?
I'm sorry, not a horse, a mule.
Well, it spends like maybe a minute and a half showing the outside of the temple. She spends the rest of the thing because the temple's beautiful.
Sure.
It's just on the way there. It's like, Jesus Christ, put me in a bubble. So
You got to go through Thunderdome to get
Fucking ghetto, yeah.
So you know what? This sounds this sounds like it's kind of a movie very similar to what we were talking about a little while ago, where if you're a fan of this, because I have seen some reviews of this film, and from what you tell me about the reviews of the book too, it's almost the same. There are people who really love this, and I get the feeling that the people who love it already want to love it for some reason or another. They've made up their minds, and the rest of people who don't like it, they're not buying into the hype of it. So what did you guys think of it?
you know what? I accept that this wasn't made for us, but at the same time, I don't think that matters. You know, honestly, it's a film it has the illusion of being a smart film. It's trying to sell its audience on the fact that on it being a smart film, but it's not. You know, I know this type of movie. I've seen it done so much better, and this is just some bullshit.
Yeah.
You say that with such love.
Bullshit.
There is no love. The only really good things are, like I said, the cinematographer, but it's almost a shame. It almost works against it because you're like, wow, this is such a crappy movie. I wish he was doing something better with his talents and spending on here. And the fact that Julia Roberts is, no matter what she does, always at least somewhat charming because she's Julia Roberts and she's fucking charming.
Yeah. Okay.
This is one of those movies when I walked out of it, I think I liked it a little bit more than you guys, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, there was no real resolution to this person at all.
Plus, you didn't want us tearing you apart in the review.
Well, the thing is too is that I think we've all been this person, and I know sometimes it's scary when somebody like pulls a mirror up to you and you're just like, okay, I've been this shallow person. I mean. And I don't like it, and I don't want to see a movie about it. But I think
Cyrus smash.
You know what? I think, but the thing is that I think there are plenty of people out there like this, which is why I think the people who enjoy this book are half and half, because I think there are a lot of people out there who are this girl. I mean, and like I said, I think it's almost the same audience who are running to see these fucking. Sex and the City fucking movies.
Shit, we should go into the theater where they all are and tag their ears so we know how to avoid them.
But as far as a film, like there's no real sense that this woman really learned the mistakes that she was doing, and that's what kind of irritated me about it. So, I mean, I'll give this a rental. The people who enjoy that book, I think the people who really enjoy that book are probably going to love this movie.
And you're just hoping that the people who do see themselves in here at some point develop a little bit.
And that's the thing, because that's what you wanted to see out of this character at the end, and you really don't get that. You get some fairy tale ending, which I was like, okay, I can't really buy that. I mean,
for somebody you feel like doesn't deserve that fairy tale.
Well, I'm thinking like, if you're the guy falling for this girl, why don't you fucking wake up, stupid, and realize, like, look at her past relationships and see how those went, and really, what makes you any different from those people?
Or alternately, the particulars of that scenario, the final scenario, the fact that he is everything she was running away from already, but even worse. Yeah, and you're like, wow, I'm just sitting there going, you really don't see what's wrong. Forget it. I just don't care anymore.
Toward the end when she breaks up with him, I'm like, finally, you got it. Only for her guru to say, like, no, you should go back to him. It's like, no, fuck, I give up. Cause I don't know about seeing myself in her. I don't that at all. But I do see a lot of people, especially women that I know. And
guys, dude, a lot of guys. I know a fucking lot of guys who are this character.
That's really sad because they won't learn anything from this. You know what? There's nothing in this movie that I haven't seen done way, way better. Like, even as far as like making me hungry, the only thing it made me want to eat was chew my arm off to get out of the fucking movie.
This movie was cowdy ugly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, you know what? Whether this is, a subject for me or not, I can appreciate that. I can love stuff that's not written for me. But the fact is, our main character is not compelling in any way. There is nothing interesting about her. There is nothing interesting about her travels. There is nothing interesting in the way she processes it. And she's just going through stuff. And I mean, the only thing this movie is good for is showing you these locations without you having to actually spend the money to go to them. But you know what? This was really like some really high class, very glossy, very beautiful, high grade bullshit.
Yeah. You scared me there for a minute. I was like, what are you doing, Leon?
No.
Where are you going with this?
This is the very definition of some old bullshit movie.
You're starting to see his vagina grow?
I was.
Unlike mine. You noticed my vagina necklace?
Yeah. We all knew
so
about
I gave
you.
it a rental.
We already
vagina necklace? You make it sound like you in Vietnam cutting off vaginas and wearing them around your if you had a neck.
After seeing this movie, you probably will.
Go see this. Don't let your wife or girlfriend talk you into seeing this movie, whatever you do.
All right, look on YouTube and see if you can find a video of Julia Roberts raiding the refrigerator. That's probably a little shorter and a lot more straightforward than this.
I'm starving. Where should we go?
We should go to the best restaurant in town.
Of course.
My place.
Subtle.